Welcome to the Good News Bay podcast, where we are making Bay County brighter, one conversation at a time. Today we have the real treat and privilege to be back in Colonel George Watkins' office. Did I say that right? It's your office, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Some things have fancy titles, but we're over here at Tyndall Air Force Base. He is the commander of the 325th Fighter Wing.
That's right.
And it is a real treat. We have an air show that's coming up in May, and we're going to talk about that in just a couple of moments. I also wanted to mention it's been a little over a year since we were on the podcast, and you gave us all kinds of information, a lot of personal information, which is really helpful in knowing who the commander is, the wing commander. But then, so they can go back to episode 27 for that. But today we're going to talk and give an update. You said you had some updates for us about where progress has come, and so we're looking forward to talking that. So welcome to the show.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for having me again. And thinking back to over a year ago when the last time we did this, all the stuff we talked about was going to happen. Almost all of that did happen. And so it's really exciting to be here, thinking back of what we've done over the past year and how our mission has changed and how we've moved forward. It's pretty exciting. So just to kind of recap some of the big movements that we had from Tyndall Air Force Base. So after the hurricane, Tyndall moved all of our F-22s and our T-38s in the training mission over to Eglin. Now, we kept operations going here. A few months after the hurricane, a lot of our ops for our other tenant units kept going. So we had an open airfield, and we've been doing things here at Tyndall ever since a couple months after the hurricane. But our main flying operations were out of Eglin for a few years.
Yes. So
last summer, we moved our F-22 mission and the T-38s that went along with them. We moved 30 F-22s up to 1st Fighter Wing at Langley Air Force Base. And so that was a big deal. We had people stationed at Eglin that were part of our team, and they all moved on to other jobs. A few of them stayed at Eglin and found new jobs there, but most of our airmen, we call it PCSing, or permanent change of duty, so moving to a new location, a new Air Force base. A lot of them went to Langley with the jets. And some of them went to other F-22 locations around the world, and a few of them came over to Tyndall, but had to move to do that. So that was a really big deal for the wing, for consolidating our mission, and bringing basically all of our team is now on Tyndall for the 325th Fighter Wing. As we were doing that, we were also building up F-35 positions here at Tyndall and preparing for our August first aircraft delivery. And so we had our first F-35s were delivered on the 1st of August. I was fortunate enough, I got to fly one of them in. It was really exciting for me as the wing commander to be able to.
That's pretty cool.
To lead the charge, yeah, and we brought 3 jets in on the 1st of August. And we have 8 aircraft now, 8 F-35s out on the ramp, and we're flying them every day. So if you hear the jet noise, that's Tyndall's F-35s flying around the Bay Area again.
Well, we've got some jet noise. We're going to have more jet noise.
We're going to have a lot more jet noise, yeah. So we are still on track for building 3 fighter squadrons and 3 maintenance squadrons of F-35s. So altogether, that's going to be 78 total F-35s on our ramp that we're going to own and operate and deploy to forward locations in the future.
That has an impact, not just the noise in the air and our being able to continue to maintain air dominance, but even more importantly for our local community. That's going to be jobs. That's going to be tax dollars. That's going to bring a ton of exposure to our community, and we are grateful that it's still happening, that it is happening, that what we talked about last year, that it would happen, that it's indeed in process. I remember. One of the early tours I got as an honorary commander of all that they were going to do to make this the air base of the future. And they had a model in one of the rooms that they took us to, and it had all these things that were going to come down and be rebuilt, and then they were going to move everything around in the process, then build some more stuff and move some things around again. And in all these last couple of years, every time I come, they have moved things around, and they're either in a 10-minute temporary or moving towards permanent spaces. From a building standpoint, we have done a lot of the demolition at this point. Is that correct?
That's right. So almost all of the demolition is complete. So there is one more hangar that we have been it's been in continuous use, and it's also still used for F-22 paint. So it's a specialized hangar. It's been outfitted for the low, we call it the low observable or LO paint. the special paint that goes on the stealth aircraft. And so it was specially outfitted for F-22s, and they are still cycling through there. So we will fly F-22s from 1st Fighter Wing at Langley Air Force Base down to Tyndall. They'll go through the paint hangar, and then they'll fly back there. So we needed to keep that one open. So that one has not been demolished yet, but we have plans for that space. So as soon as they finish outfitting a new hangar up in Langley for their paint facility, then we'll be able to demo this one. But that'll take a couple more years. So we're on hold for that demo, but besides that, almost all of the facilities that need to be demoed have been demoed. So we're on to kind of the next phase, right? Yeah. And as you can see, there's buildings going up everywhere. Almost all of the major projects have broken ground and are at some point in their development. Some have closed out and are open for business. So we've had ribbon cuttings on about 3 major facilities across the wing, and those are being used. So we have an air battle manager simulator building. We have a new fire station on the south side for the housing and support facilities.
Right.
And we've got some WEG boat facilities, weapons evaluation group boat repair facilities that have been open for business for a few months now. And just this morning we opened our new renovation on our clinic. So our clinic had a bunch of the building had been damaged by water in the storm. And so they finally cleaned out all of the mold and remediation, and they remodeled it. It's beautiful inside now. And so our clinic is now whole again. And so it's almost every month we're coming up on another milestone for the base of the future and the installation of the future. And we're opening new facilities all the time. So it's really exciting to be here at this point in time.
Well, the ceremony that y'all did this past year to celebrate the F-35s coming to the base, one of the things that I really enjoyed was hearing the previous commander, wing commander, talk about how much this community has meant to him. His name escapes me right this second, so I apologize for that. But he is planning, it sounded like, to retire here because the community has been a place that he's fallen in love with, been very supportive. You have said very things to that extent. We want to keep that reputation. We've built that reputation.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Are we doing okay with that still? I mean,
yeah,
y'all feel loved, right?
I haven't seen anything else over the past year. Just continuing really great relations with the community, the community leaders. And really, our airmen are part of the community. And as we grow here on base, over the next few years, we'll get a few thousand more airmen that come here with their families. And if you add in the dependents, so that the spouses, the families, the kids, it'll be quite a few more members of the community. And we've seen great things from trying to make the schools stronger and increasing care facilities off the installation. So the clinic that I just mentioned, it's notable that it's only for active duty on base. So all of our families, for their care, go to facilities off base in the community for either specialists or just family practice or pediatrics. So it's great to be able to get all that on the community. That's
important. I do want to acknowledge that y'all have done a great job of advocating for the airmen and their families as they come. We, as a community, we're really aware that the preschool childcare is a great need. The school system is something that's being worked at. Housing is also, I mean, as a community, we know this is needed, but I think you probably will have some airmen watching and their families, and I want them to know you guys have done such a good job with it. The community's hearing it. I mean, some of them are community-wide issues. When you have that many people coming to an area, it's an infrastructure issue, but we want to get that right, and we want to get that right for not just the families that are here, but the families that are coming as a way of supporting you all. One of the things that I wanted to ask, though, because we wanted to, part of the reason that I think it is a major part of the reason we wanted to do this podcast was not just the update, but also to talk about the coming air show.
Yes.
So in May, what are the exact dates?
Yes,
the 4th and 5th?
May 4th and 5th, and I'm super excited about the air show. So with all this construction, and if you look outside, you see everything is tore up. We've got utility corridors going in and buildings under construction. We have limited parking on base. We were unable to host a traditional open house and air show on Tyndall Air Force Base. And so for a while, we'd been thinking, we'll just postpone it until the rebuild is complete, which will be a couple more years. But we haven't had an air show in the area since 2017. And so we were trying to figure out if there was any way that we could still do some sort of air show to give back to the community that's been so great to us, and really just to show off what air power can do, because we love flying planes around and we love having air shows as well. And so we decided to do, around the country, there's a few places that do beach air shows. And we have a world-class beach, so we approached Panama City Beach, and we're partnered with Panama City Beach, the city of Panama City Beach, and they are going to help us host an air show. So they're going to do the majority of the hard work on the ground, providing traffic control and crowd security and food and beverage options and all the stuff that goes along with hosting that many people for an air show. And we're going to bring the airplanes. So the Thunderbirds are our headlining event. We're really excited that we booked the Thunderbirds, but we've got many good shows for the 4th and 5th. So if you can make it out to the beach, I will say get there early. Traffic is going to be a thing. Some of the streets will be blocked off for pedestrian only on Pier Park, on Front Beach Road, right in front of Pier Park.
So the center point of the air show is going to be Pier Park at Panama City Beach.
Yes, our air show, in coordination with Panama City Beach and in joint participation with Panama City Beach, is going to be right over Pier Park, right over the water.
It's going to be awesome.
And so all along the beach front, you should be able to see a good show, and from the water or from the beach.
For those that don't know anything about our area, we're busy a lot of the time these days, but the shoulder seasons don't generally start until school gets out. And so this has been perfectly timed at a time when we're not normally slammed wall to wall. And so if you're down here and you have a room in a hotel on the beach, you're going to see some incredible things. If you've got a boat and want to come for the day, there'll also be some options, I think, to see it from the water.
Yes.
As long as you're not in the wrong spot.
Yes, there will be patrols that block off a large air show box, we call it, in the water for safety reasons. So people will need to stay out of that area, but it'll be clearly marked, and everywhere outside of that, people can see the air show from a boat.
Well, we are going to do a short segment here in just a little bit with a former Thunderbird who is now one of our F-35 pilots, and I forget all of his title, but Alex Goldfein will be on and can give us some more detail about where they can park the boats. But I want people to know it's a great time to come to the area to see the show.
Yeah, we're super excited about the air show. It's going to be a really great show, and again, we wanted to give back to the community, and we wanted to have a good time. So,
one more thing I wanted to mention, and I may be kind of regressing a little, but this past year, a couple of big things happened. Number one is I know there were a couple of commercial entrances that were completed so that all of the contractors could get in and out off the main road out there.
So we opened some temporary new entrances to the base for construction traffic. We have a brand new commercial entrance. It's not actually open yet, but construction is almost complete on that.
And then the overpass happened since we were together last.
Yep, the overpass. There are 2 overpasses. One has been open for about 6 months now, helping us relieve a little bit of traffic burden, but it's been really great for the base and the airmen because it's also an underpass for us, so we don't have to go off base to get from one side of the base to the other. And then the other overpass, the first one here, is going to be finished up in a few months, hopefully 4 or 5 months, and then we can kind of reroute all non-local traffic, so anyone that's not coming to the base can just kind of go straight through on the overpass. It'll be a lot easier.
I love coming and talking about good things like progress, not wishes and dreams, but things that are becoming a reality. Those that follow your social media site will put links for all those. There's a new podcast, Lightning Within 5, I think is what it's called. Yep,
our Tyndall podcast, Lightning Within 5, is good.
So there'll be lots more information coming. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you catch some big fish when snapper season opens.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll do my best.
All righty. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Good News Bay podcast, where we are making Bay County brighter one conversation at a time. Please help us share this good news and change the conversation by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the podcast.